Today we're going to be breaking down how much it costs to buy your first motorcycle. So let's get straight into it. We're going to go hop on the Yamaha R7 and go for a ride. We're going to get straight into it. No BS. We're going to talk about everything you need to buy your first motorcycle. First thing you need is a helmet. You need a helmet, right? It's going to keep you safe. It's going to make sure you don't break your head open. Make sure you buy a good quality helmet too. Make sure it's rated for on-the-road travel. There's DOT rated and then there's ECE rated, which I think ECE is what track days is what they prefer. But if you're just going to be riding around your city or you live in a small town, get a DOT rated helmet. The helmet that I'm wearing is the Alpine Stars SR7, and personally my opinion on this helmet is I like this helmet. Everyone buys AGV Pistas and all the bikers, like, honestly they look the same, right? They're wearing the AGV Pistas, the white gloves, the white boots. It's kind of like repetitive at this point. This is your bare minimum, like the very bottom of the line. You need a helmet, guys. You could get away, you know, with like some Home Depot gloves and etc., but we're gonna get to that part in this next section right now. So get a helmet, guys. It's gonna keep you safe. You're gonna look cool, and you know, add your own little style to your helmet. Make it feel more personal to you. Now, the second thing I want to speak on is gloves. Yeah, you could get away with a pair of Home Depot gloves or whatever, but if you hit the ground, bro, those gloves are literally gonna get teared up, and you're gonna have like no fingers, dog. I recommend you get a nice pair of gloves. It doesn't even need to be anything too fancy or too expensive. In my opinion, just make sure your gloves have a pinky strap and sliders. The purpose of a pinky strap is to make sure your pinky does not snap in half when you end up laying your bike down. And let's be honest, like I said earlier, you don't want to be that dude with broken fingers, no hand, etc. It's just not ideal. Now, the purpose of palm sliders is to make sure your hand doesn't snap in half when you eat dirt. It's just that extra little added protection that minimizes the chance of you breaking any bones or snapping anything in half. Definitely get a good pair of gloves. And honestly, a lot of gloves, they come in cool designs. I got these pink gloves. They have carbon fiber on them. Now, everyone's always wearing the same gloves. You know, it's those white Saint gloves, or those white, I think it's pronounced Dainese gloves. Be different, guys. Come on. We can't have every biker look the same. Let's be real. Now, another piece of gear that I want to talk about is boots. Now, you could get away with riding in regular shoes or riding in, you know, maybe some work boots. But like I said earlier with the gloves, guys, if you're just wearing regular shoes and you like tip over, you slide or whatever, you slide, right? Your toes are gonna get teared up, bruh. And let's be real, like I said, you don't want to be known as that dude with no toes. Well, let's keep it a buck. I do recommend good quality boots. I'll be honest with you guys, when you first start riding with boots, it's for sure gonna be uncomfortable. You gotta break the boots in. I wouldn't even lie, when I first rode my bike, I could not ride with boots at all. Like, I had to use shoes. So if you gotta start off with shoes, I completely understand. Don't feel like you gotta be a master at riding with boots right away, but I definitely recommend you try to get used to riding in boots. It's definitely, like I said, just that little extra added protection. Now, keep in mind that I'm going to be talking about the bare minimum that you need to ride a motorcycle. So we're not really going to talk about a full-on like one-piece suit or etc. We're just talking about the bare minimum here. Now that you have your bare minimum gear, it's time to get your MSF course. Now, I can't speak too much on the MSF course, but I do understand that the MSF course is going to be a good foundation for you learning how to ride, keeping you safe, like just in general, you know, keeping you out of danger. I plan on doing my MSF course very soon. Apparently, since it's summer right now, my local MSF course, whatever, is not in session because it's too hot. The sun, it's like literally like 112 degrees out here, bro. I do recommend doing the MSF course because I won't lie to you guys, when I first bought this bike, we trailered it home and I had no experience riding, nothing. Like, I knew nothing about bikes before getting this bike. And me and my homie Elvis, we trailered it from Simi Valley, blah blah blah. We made it back home, etc. And we were gonna go drop off the U-Haul, right? I was like, you know what, I want to ride the bike home from the U-Haul spot to my house. It's only like about a 10-minute drive, right? So I wanted to go drop off the U-Haul and then go ride my motorcycle. And I won't even lie to you guys, I did my first ever practice laps in that U-Haul parking lot, and I dropped my bike like 2 to 3 times, bro. I'm not even playing with you. Now, I didn't drop it like while riding at normal speed, obviously. I dropped it when coming to a stop. Like, stops were my biggest issue. I dropped my bike, I tipped it over literally like 3 times, right? Once on the left side, once on the right side, and then I think again on the left side. And honestly, if I would have taken an MSF course, again, now, in my case, I couldn't because it's not in session. But if I feel like if I would have took the MSF course, I would have never tipped my bike over because I would have known how to come to a complete stop without losing balance. So stuff like that, guys, like taking an MSF course would help you prevent dropping your bike or even getting into an accident. You never know, guys. Like, make sure you take an MSF course. It's gonna really teach you everything you need to know about riding a motorcycle. So now that you took your MSF course, I want to talk about buying your motorcycle. Now, the motorcycle itself, like I said, it's gonna vary person to person. Me personally, I decided to get a Yamaha R7. R7's got a lot of hate for no reason, to be honest. I think it's a good bike. It's my first bike, so I really don't know how any other motorcycle rides, but I do understand that the R7 gets a lot of hate. Now, one thing I want to say, guys, is make sure you buy a motorcycle that you like. Don't just get a bike that someone tells you to get. And also, guys, one thing I want to say is don't get a bike that is too fast. Now, what I mean by that is, yeah, get the bike you want, obviously. If you think you can handle it, go for it. But I for sure recommend you stay within your limits. I usually at least use like a little bit of logic, because when I first was looking for motorcycles, I'll be honest with you guys, I was looking at R3s, and then I was like, you know, in my head I was like, okay, if I buy R3, I'm gonna get tired of it, etc. It's not gonna be fast enough, blah blah blah. And so after R3s, I was looking at 600s, right? So I was looking at the Yamaha R6s, the ZX6Rs, etc. And I was like, you know what? I keep hearing the same thing on social media. Everyone is saying that these bikes are way too fast for beginners, that it's dangerous, that you should stay to your level, etc. Now, I completely agree with that. I dropped my bike coming to a stop. Now, I haven't had issues riding fast, but imagine worst case scenario, I do end up tipping over and I end up hurting my bike, bruh, and myself. I definitely think you should take a step back and just think like, okay, I'm a beginner, I don't know how to ride at all. Maybe, like I said, maybe don't get an R3, but maybe get something a little faster, you know? Me personally, that sweet spot was this Yamaha R7. I was like, oh, okay, it's still a beginner bike. It's still, you know, powerful enough to hop on the freeway and have fun, and you could still learn the bike. You know, it's not going to be scary. You don't got to worry about the throttle being so twitchy. And it's a good beginner bike, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind when you're buying your motorcycle. Now that you bought your motorcycle, the next thing I want to talk about is registering your bike. Now, guys, when you go to the DMV, like I said, it's going to vary depending on your bike, or if you bought it new, used, etc. But make sure you register your bike. You don't want to be riding around on the streets with an unregistered bike. It's going to get you in a lot of trouble. You might have to deal with the police. No one wants to deal with that, bruh. So just go register your bike. And if you don't know how to register your bike, just go to the DMV. You know, you walk in. I just walked in. I didn't set up an appointment or anything. You walk in, and there's going to be a guy in the front desk. You tell him you want to register your motorcycle. You just bought one. They're like, okay, can we see the pink slip? They're going to look at your pink slip, and they're going to let you know if you're missing any information on the pink slip. And if you are, go ahead and fill out anything that's missing in the boxes, and then they're going to tell you, okay, go ahead, take a seat. We'll call you up when we're available, right? We'll call you up when we're available. Take a seat. Boom. They call you up. You hand your pink slip over to the guy on the desk, and he's gonna ask you, you know, what is your purpose for visit? You just tell him, hey, I just bought a motorcycle, I'd like to register. And he's like, okay, can I see the pink slip? You hand him over the pink slip. He's gonna look at it. He's like, okay, cool. And he's gonna do some stuff on his computer. You're gonna pay, and he's gonna hand you your registration and your tags, your stickers or whatever. And then in like 2 weeks or 1 week, you'll get your new pink slip in the mail. Now, for me, the turnaround time was actually pretty quick. I got it within the same week. So it's really not that hard, guys. Just make sure you register your bike. You don't want to be riding around with no registration, let alone no insurance, etc. And that actually brings up the next topic that we're going to talk about is insurance. So let's hop back on the Yamaha R7, and then we'll talk about insurance. Man, it's hot out here, guys. It's not even the hottest day today, bro. It's like actually somewhat decent, and I'm still out here dying, bro. It's probably because I'm wearing all black. Let's be real. Insurance is gonna vary person to person. It really depends on your age, whether you're younger, older, etc., whether you have a clean driving record or a bad one. The important thing about insurance, guys, is if you get pulled over, you need insurance. If you drop your bike, hopefully you have insurance, because it's going to cover any damages, hopefully. And if you ever get into an accident, and you know, people aren't the best drivers, if you get into an accident, it'll protect you and your motorcycle, and it'll cover any of the expenses, or even get you a new motorcycle. So make sure you have insurance, bro, because let's be real, no one wants to waste money, and especially if you tip your bike over, you get into an accident due to someone else. It's really not an ideal situation. So just make sure you have insurance, guys. It's the best thing you could have on any vehicle, motorcycle, car, your house, whatever it is. Don't be like these dudes riding with no insurance, and then they tip their bikes over, and then they're crying about it because they can't afford to fix it, or they can't afford to buy a new bike. If you had insurance, you could prevent that. So just make sure you guys are insured while you guys are on the road. Now that we went over everything that you need, you can now go buy your first motorcycle. Now there is something I want to bring up to you guys, and I'm gonna name this category extras. Now extras might be everything that I didn't talk about, right? So maybe the cost of maintaining your bike, maybe the cost of fuel, maybe you want a full one-piece motorcycle suit, maybe you want whatever it is. It's gonna be considered in this extra category if I didn't talk about it. So just make sure you have a little money to spare in case you want something else, maybe a visor or maybe a mod for your bike, whatever it is. Just consider it that little extra bit of money to the side that I didn't talk about. For sure, probably didn't mention everything. If I did forget something, just put it in this extra category. It should pretty much cover anything that I missed. Who doesn't like to have a little fun? Honestly, that pretty much sums up the whole video. There really isn't much more to speak on. Now, let me know below in the comments if I did end up missing something. But honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys stick around, because I have some mods laying in my room that I'm gonna put on this R7, and we're also gonna be doing a lot of content with this bike. So if you guys are interested in my content, if you guys like the moto vlogs, make sure to tap it with me, you know, hit that like button, subscribe, etc. I appreciate you guys if you made it this far. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.